course. Definitely starts with me, starts with my performance, with how I distribute the ball, how I operate the guys. I would say that first, but I want to give our defense, a lot of praise. Also want to give a big shout out to Devon crossing 1,000 yards. That's also big as well. And then also want to shout out some of the friends I made at Joe DiMaggio, Eric, Selena. I see you guys. Just saying what's up.
Tua, can you expand on just how much Devon has meant to this offense this year?
Yeah, as I said in past interviews, he's so versatile, right? You can align him in a slot, you can align him in a receiver stance, in a running back position, you name it. Just the diversity that he gives our offense is what I think makes him very special, outside of the ability to run and catch.
What was the struggle most of the day, especially second half? One field goal was the only in the offense. What was the reason for?
Yeah, I would say it's, it reverts back to how I'm playing or how I'm operating for those guys. When I'm able to distribute the ball well, the operation as well, the run game helps with that. And so, as I said, that starts with me. So,
how are you personally handling the momentum of this 3-game win streak without getting complacent?
I don't think there's room for complacency in the NFL. There's no room for any team to get comfortable, especially towards the backstretch of the season. And for our team, we don't have any room, for us to be enjoying too much. We got to dig ourselves out of this hole, but it feels good when you get to come off a bye week, little rust here and there, but at the end of the day, you get a win. It's always good.
What are you thinking as all that craziness is happening? 2-point try, going the other way, and then onside kick, they get the ball back, and all you can do is just watch, hope the defense gets a stop.
Yeah, you hope they can, and the beautiful thing is they did. They came through for us, and regardless of what that looks like, we won the game.
Are you happy? In these 3 games, you're kind of an efficient, not racking up big statistics. Game isn't depending on you. Do you like this role?
Well, I like when we win. I think that's the main objective for what I'm supposed to do as I go out there to lead that offense, score one more point or however many more points than the opposing team. So regardless of what that looks like, whether the game is asking of me to throw for a set amount of yards or however many touchdowns, I'm just more fascinated with the wins. So I'm glad we got a team win.
I don't know if I remember the last time Devon didn't catch a pass in a single game, only one target. Was that something that New Orleans was doing to take him away in the passing game?
I wouldn't say it was something that they were doing as much as it was going through the progression and, just seeing the field in that sense.
Have you seen a change in the confidence or vibes in the locker room winning 4 of 5?
For sure. Guys are always happy when you win, but just the camaraderie that we have, all 3 phases. Offense goes out there, we get 3 and out. Defense is coming to uplift us, like we got you guys, and then sort of vice versa, and then also with special teams. So it's always good when you can get into that rhythm and that flow as a team.
Offensively, you guys got back 2 starters in Darren Waller and Austin Jackson. Just what did you see from them out there?
Yeah, they were out there competing for us. I think they did a really good job. I wish I had one of those throws back with Darren, but outside of that, I think they played a great game.
What do you think was the struggle in getting Jalen the ball?
Well, I think they were trying to take him away. Talked a little bit to Staley after the game. We had a little conversation about that as well. So that was cool. And he had some pretty cool words to say after as well.
They took that pass into the end zone, the interception, was that, tell me what happened there. Was it just
it was just a bad decision. That's all that was. Just got to be smart with the ball. Yep. You're good.
What'd you think of Minkah's return going the other way on the to get 2 points for the team?
What did I think? I mean, that was a great play by Mink. Does it surprise me? No, I've seen him do that at Alabama, and then I've seen him do it against us in practice, throughout training camp. So to be able to see his hard work, show in tough and critical situations in the ball game, that's who Mink is.
I think it says everything. I think it's third straight, 4 of 5. There's been different formulas in the whole process, but you think you have the right type of guys, but you don't know until you know. It takes a galvanized group of people, talking about from just the locker room and the coaching staff being able to reach those players to be able to pull that off. I think it does say everything about the guys that we have on this team, because it's easier said than done for sure. So you try not to, especially when you're preaching, for me, conviction over perfection to the nth degree to the team. You try not to get caught up in the style of victory, because these are the idea is to end the game in the stadium with more points than the opponent. And winning football games, you have to learn how to do it a multitude of ways. So when you're able to win, you learn from the negative, the positive, and the bottom line is we have more reason to stay together, more conviction, more belief every single time that you're in the victors column. So I'm very proud of the group, and I think it does say everything.
One constant, it seems, is Devon Achane, and now he has 1,000 yards in 12 games. Can you put into words what he's meant to this team?
No, he's we were relying upon him to not just be a good player, but to take a step in being a leader, and I think it's not just his play. He's much more vocal. He's we align him everywhere and ask him to do a ton of jobs, and he takes pride in being very, very on top of all of his assignments, and that allows you to do a lot of different things and keep people off of the scent of how you're using them. He also does a lot of work without the ball. We send him on fake jet sweeps a ton to get other people involved, and understanding where he receives a lot of attention. I think the thing that makes Devon great is that he's not satisfied. He is confident, but he was, frustrated he didn't have 2 touchdowns with that pass in the second quarter, I think. And that's what you need from your best player. So I think he's taken a huge step forward in his game. He was already a dynamic player, but I think you're seeing a lot of confidence in him. He's making players miss a ton, but he's also getting some dirty yardage driving the pile, which is a big part of winning football. So I can't say enough great things about Vaughn. He's a very talented player, but more importantly, he's a hard worker with that talent. So you're seeing the residuals of that.
Kind of moving in that same vein, how have you and your staff really emphasized establishing the run over the past, let's call it, month? I think in your 4 wins, you're averaging like 170 yards per game on the ground.
Yeah, I think it's something that we've always wanted to be able to execute, but there's a difference in want and being able to execute it. I think a big a gigantic part of it is the tonality with which our offensive line is playing. They're really attacking people and giving us opportunities to have some space for the ball carrier. They are doing a very good job at not wavering in confidence, playing all sorts of really good players. That's a salty veteran defense that plays a physical style of football, and particularly in the last month, I've seen the most physical football that we've had since I've been here, and that has resulted in more opportunities and more yards on the ground. So I think it's something that you're always, I think the Saints had a really good plan. They were very pass committed, and I think they had reroutes on Waddle every single snap. But when you do that, to get you're removing a run defender, so it's important that when guys get a ton of attention, that you make them pay, and guys did a good job staying true to that, and which accounted for some yards. We have some things to clean up, as you always do, but particularly we do have things to clean up in the run game. Situationally, we started better at the beginning of the season than we've had, and so guys are hungry because they want to be able to end the game with the ball, and you got to do that running the ball a lot of times. So good and bad, but overall the offensive line and the backs have and really all the core blockers. On top of, we've gotten some really good receiver blocking as well in the last month, so that all plays into it, and we'll look to continue that against a team that will try to stop it.
Minkah's 2 points proved pivotal, as without them, then the Saints could have tried for a long game-winning field goal after the onside kick. Just your thoughts on the madness of the ending between that, the onside kick, the stop at the end.
Yeah, that was my. I'm glad he. We talk about it. It's been a while, maybe a month or two. But the rare, pick safety on a 2-point is, it was the second time that I'd been a part of it, but the first time that I was on the right side of it. We had one in 2016 where Eric Berry took one in a critical moment that proved the biggest differential. So it was gigantic, especially after he took a unbelievable undercut angle, and this is he was doing it from the slot position where nickels usually play. So I think it kind of speaks to who he is. He competitive greatness, being your greatest when you're being your best when your best is required. And he took an undercut angle, utilized his great ball skills, and he didn't hesitate for 1 second, which is, really helped after the onside, because they had to get in the end zone, and that changes everything. So big time players make big time plays for your team, and he came through for us.
You touched on the Saints game plan, but what made it difficult for Tua today, and then also the second half? What was the reason for the drop off in the offense?
Yeah, I think you're not gonna have. Yeah, ultimately, in the pass game, there were some plays that weren't made that I wouldn't say Tua played his best game. There was some stuff that was him, like the pick. He could have thrown it to Darren Waller, but he also had what Devon would call a very catchable touchdown pass that he dropped, and we had another drop. I think Julian had one. These are big time plays that you got to come up with. So the guys know that. I did feel in the pass game, unlike the run game, I felt the bye week a little bit. That was a little frustrating, but we got to get the whole point is you hope to have your improvements found in a win, or hope to find the things that you need to improve on in a win. And I think there was a multitude of herky-jerky. I think we had a good drive in the third quarter. Was it the fourth? I can't remember. Where Tua hit number 3 in progression on continuous or back-to-back plays, and then we missed Darren in the end zone, and I haven't seen. I just saw it live, and I'm 60 yards away, but I can't even attribute that directly to the necessity of the layered ball, or if Darren should have been able to feel that and kept his feet in bounds. So there's, before I see the tape, I just know that it was a little herky-jerky in the pass game. There were some plays made in the second half by Tua, but there were some plays that we'd like to have back, and that's a collective for sure. There'll always be there'll always be plays that you want to do better on. The key is that we continue to work and get the best concepts for him that he's convicted, and then being able to build on some of those progressions that we had in the second half, so that we can have a at some point we're going to have to execute that in the near future, because in the NFL you have success in a phase, or success in running the ball, and people will overcommit, and you'll eventually need to pass to win. And I think that will be a big thing that we'll be working on this coming week.
Were you aware that your defense on that 2-point conversion, they didn't get the call in because there was some sort of issue with the headset? And
I was aware. I was going down to call a timeout, and then the conviction of T-Dot, the coaching staff thought he did ultimately get the call, because there was some headset issues at the end of the game. That wasn't the only snap, but I was ready. I was aware of the trying to get the call in, and then we all interpreted. I think it was on the false start, or the interception. The interception that we were convinced. I was about to call a timeout, and then at the last second, a couple coaches on the headset said, "No, you got the call." And so then I walked back. So I was aware of the issue. I was not aware that that T-Dot called his own defense, but I think realistically, like we've said from the beginning, it's less about the play call, more about the conviction of the entire group on how you're playing it. So that's a Mike linebacker that's prepared, and a defense that believes in him.
To under 100 yards rushing today. Just what did you like out of the run defense?
That was one of the keys to the game for us defensively. We knew there had been a lot of very tight games that they either won or were within one score or 10 points as a result of bleeding the clock out and committing to the ground. So we knew that they hadn't won with less than 100 yards rushing. So I'm happy that the guys, you could see the intent, you could see the ownership of gap responsible football, and guys were hitting. There was probably outside of the third quarter. I think it was the exact picture of what we were trying to execute going into the game.
Last question.
Coach, how do you keep the locker room grounded despite the strength, and how do you assess practice habits out of all the past few weeks during this short trip?
So that's easy. We have every inch that we've gained as a football team has been done with an urgency that has nothing to do with feeling ourselves or, I think the confidence is beneficial for sure, but I don't see guys really having their workflow affected, because that's what has created the momentum in it of itself. You get a little more worried about win streaks at the very beginning of the season because you don't know the gravity and despair of multiple losses like you do when you start behind the eight ball. So I think that's the main thing is guys through the leadership council and the captains not wavering at all, and I'm not. That will be emphasized, but generally they are. This team responds 2 points of emphasis. So, and then the second question.
Practice evolution.
Okay. And that's been the main thing that gives me confidence with that, is because guys have really gone above and beyond. We've always been a hard practicing team, but with the intentionality to the details of things that decide winning and losing, penalties, or I think this game we had 3. That's a result of preparation, the conviction that we have both pre-snap and post-snap, and the communication. All of those things have really. It's probably the reason why we're standing here talking about 4 of the last 5 or a 3-game win streak is because of those habits. So I look for those to continue to gain momentum as we go down the stretch of this season with 5 games left, but that are guaranteed, and one opponent that I know of, which is the New York Jets coming. That first thing when I wake up tomorrow morning, it's the only thing I'll want to talk about. But I'll give the rest of the night for family time and Victory Sunday.